Welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News, and I have pulled off the biggest pull of anything. I've got all three of the Edwards guys here, and I think that's really cool that I was able to get all three of y'all here at the same time. I had a hard time getting Danny to even come the first time, but we got him in here now, so that's a pretty cool deal. Let's talk about our sponsors real quick and get them out of the way here so we can talk to Danny. First by the GAC, Great American Companies, Guillermo Amaya. We want to thank him. He's been with us ever since we started. Papa John's, they send us pizza every week, and I'll tell you what, we can't do without it. Slinger Speed Co. Tim Brown over there. He got us our shirts and got us a lot of stuff so far this year. Bondrett Brothers Distillery. Robert Bondrett. I don't know if y'all know about Bondrett Brothers Distillery. Makes good moonshine. And Andy Clark, he took the moonshine home with him the other night.
For the second time.
Yeah. MPM Marketing, Tanya McAllister. She does works with the drivers as far as driver promotion, graphic design, press releases, marketing materials, anything you need, she'll help you with it. So get in touch with her if you need something like that. Langley Speedway, I want to thank Bill and Chuck and Terry for letting us come do the show here. We've been over here now for like 6 years, and it's been a lot of fun. They pretty much just let us run with the place and do what we want to do. Pepsi is the drink of choice here at the show and here at Langley Speedway. Robert Rummels and Mosquito Joe. I want to thank him for being with us. He had a big time Saturday when he came up here and hung out with Aiden and all them. He thought he was somebody then when he came up here, but it was really cool to have him here. Fast Eddie's Barbecue, Eddie Clark. Thank Eddie he cooked the barbecue Saturday, and I mean, tell you what, he cooked some good barbecue, and we still have some left. You want a barbecue sandwich before you leave? Like, we've got plenty of barbecue. Take one to go. Airlocks and Factory Canopies. Todd Davis, he's given us table covers, chairs, everything for our show. We appreciate him and all he's done for us. Scott Allen and everybody over, Vivian Williams and everybody at Miles of Seamless Gutters. One of Scott's businesses that he's involved with his aunt. I want to thank them. They're the one who gave us the $5,000 last year to give for a sponsorship promotion. Paquette Power Solutions, generator and electrical service. We appreciate them for being on board with us. They just came on. Sammy Gata over at Frontline Performance, race fuel parts and lubricants. And has some real hot race fuel over there. It may or may not pass tech. We don't know. But, you know, that's what he wants us to say. S&N Infrastructure. Brian Morehouse and his group over there, we appreciate them. They just redid their logos and did some changing around, so we appreciate them and have been part of us. Brian's been with us since we started too. Randy Marshall wanted me to also say that October the 25th is the trunk or treat here at Langley Speedway. If you are not racing that weekend, and I don't know who all is racing that weekend, they need you to be set up at 1:15 out here for the trunk or treat. And if you are racing, they're going to come down on pit road and have, they're going to set up pit road for the guys that are racing. So if you want to be a part of that, contact Brandy Marshall. That's what she likes to do, and she's pretty good at it. All right, real quick on some news in the Cup Series. Christopher Bell got the win this past weekend. Oh, that was pretty cool that he come flying back, but hey, Gibbs got 3 wins in the playoffs so far.
3 men.
So I mean, you know, that's. I'm not a big Joe Gibbs fan, but that's pretty good. Eric Almirola got the win in the Xfinity race, and our friend Butterbean got finished 20th on the lead lap, no damage, brought the car home in one piece. And I understand. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'll go ahead and say it anyway. I understand that he's going to have another chance to do that again. And think there's some big news coming down the road too. In the trucks lane, Riggs got the win. In the ARCA series, Brent Cruz got the win, and Butterbean finished third in the ARCA car. The East winner and champion is Isaac Kitzmiller. Down at Sobo, Pro Late Models in the Cars Tour, Keelan Harvick got the win. And in the late model stock car portion of the Cars Tour weekend, Caden Honeycutt got the win. Up at Dominion. No, he didn't win, but he won the championship. He won the championship. At Dominion in the Smart Mods, Ryan Newman got the win. In the Virginia Mods, J.D. Eversole got the win. And in the Legends, Jackson Fuchs got one win, and Daniel Silvestri got the other. Down at Dixieland, in the Sport Compact, Ryland Lindsay. Super Streets, Neil McClanahan. Sportsman, Kerry King. Late Models, Larry Jackson. And the Legends, Cody Carlton. And down at Hickory, the limited late model winner was Billy Jack Lester. Late models, Michael Bumgardner. In the super stock or super streets, Cody DeMarmels got the win, and in the vintage, his daddy Tom DeMarmels got the win. So that's pretty good thing. And we're gonna turn it over to the man over there with his pit road roundup.
Man, good racing this weekend. We set the sprint series back. Had a little bit of everything. In the trucks, Chris McAvoy got his second win in a row. Sprint series, it was Chris Humblett got his second win in a row. In the super streets, Landon Abbott was the winner on Saturday, but that's up for review here. So stay tuned for the Langley Speedway post. Grand Stocks, it was Lubno again, although our man Bill Aker put on a heck of a fight, man.
He did. He did do that.
It was a good race. And in the late models, Cole Bruce got another win. So shout out to that team.
Cole Bruce, he's on a tear.
He is.
He's on a tear. All right. Now, these guys don't need an introduction at all. These three gentlemen here, and I tell you what, thank you for coming. I mean, the weather like it is, I really appreciate you being here, and it's an honor to have all three of you here at one time, so I'll tell you that. But let's go back to a couple weekends ago. Danny got a win, Donovan got a win, and then somebody got voted in and got taken into the Hall of Fame, all in the same weekend. So that had to be a big weekend for the Edwards family. Tell us a little bit about what all.
Pretty cool. I finished second, both of them, both races.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking you were going to catch Donovan in that second race. I thought, then I got to think, nah, you may not catch him.
I was going hard as I could. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got there, but I was trying to get there. It's tough. These 50 lappers when you start back there, and you got to really be fast to try to get into a good car like that.
I mean, that was a pretty big deal for the three of you all that weekend. That's got to be very humbling and it's got to make you feel real good to be there. See Donovan get his first win. I know, Danny, that was you and I talked about it down on pit road one night. That was a big deal for you too.
Yeah, it was exciting for us. I mean, for me especially, putting a lot of work, get him in a good position, get him in a good car, and letting him learn his way. And I was quite surprised and glad he could get it, could pull one off in his rookie year. So that's pretty big. It's not easy to do, and I don't think think people look at it and it's really not easy to win these races. I mean, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. These races are hard to come by. I mean, everything is so close. The cars are so fast. And everything has to work out. Yeah, and that's everywhere in late model, but especially here too. It's a pretty finicky place where you can be on top one week and the next week not be so great. I mean, it's just hard to it's hard to navigate week to week and try to keep things running. But we've been solid. Donovan's been doing a solid job and learning and being respectful and doing it the right way and getting better and better every week. So it was big, to see him get that win. It was for me anyway.
Is it more exciting for you to see him win than if you were winning the race yourself? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I wanted to win it, but don't get me wrong. I'm sure Greg wanted to win it too. Everybody wants to win it, but I was probably more happy that he won it than anything than if I would have won it. So I was more excited about his win than I was mine earlier in the evening. So it was a big night.
Donovan, how did it feel to get that first win under your belt and I mean, beating Greg too. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's nice. Realistically, I was fine with him. If he had a better car, I was fine with him passing me if he was better. You know, I would love to win these races, but you know, top 5 in this division is everything I'm going for. So just to be up there in the hunt, I was happy to be up there, and you know, I wasn't pushing it there at the end, and he started catching me, and I picked it up right when he got to me, and it started to step out, and I guess we kind of just evened out there. And
I'm pretty glad I didn't catch you. Between your mom and my mom, I don't want to do it. I'm just glad I couldn't catch you.
And that was another thing. If I knew I was getting told he was catching me, and we had still 20 some laps to go. So I was in my head just thinking if we had a caution, he was going to eat me up. So I just wanted to save. I wanted to save as much as I could just in case of the caution, or just in case he got to me, I had something to work with. So, and
I mean,
having him back there, yeah, that's.
How much during the course of the race do you keep up with what he's doing?
Yeah.
Especially in that race. I mean, in that race, you had to.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, you know, if we get a caution or something, or they'll tell me on the radio or something, or sometimes I'll ask, you know, it'll just say, hey, you know, caution comes out, I'm looking, make sure it isn't him, you know, and say, hey, that was Donovan doing, you know, they'll tell me. You know, in that race, I wasn't running very good in the second race. We made a really bad adjustment in the second race and just couldn't get through traffic. And so, you know, I was getting some updates on what was going on. And so, yeah, it was pretty exciting there at the, you know, the last 20 laps, you know. They said, Greg's catching him. I don't know. He looks like he might get to him, you know. And then he didn't. So, you know, it kind of worked out. So, worked out for Donovan. But, you know, all in all, it was a good night for all of us. You know, it was a good points night for Greg. And,
Greg had the best night out of all of us, points-wise. And second twice.
Well, I mean, you know, that's how you win a championship, is being consistent and being there. So,
It's hard, especially this year. I don't know why it's so much harder, but you know, seems like I know they say there's 8, 9, and 10 in the pill box, but I'm drawing 10 every time. So I'm pretty sure there's up to 10 today. When you start 10th with no cautions, man, it's just so difficult to pass these guys that have good cars. So
it seems to me that it looks like, I mean, you guys are out there, but it looks to me like the competition level in front of the field with some of the guys. It's pretty mad. I mean, it's pretty even, and you really got to be on your game to get by somebody.
it is, especially the second race for me. The first race, I don't know why the tires go through a bigger change from being new, when you know you get a few cars that are really fast in qualifying or fast for 25 or 30 laps, then they'll lose a little bit and you can get by them. But the second race seems like to be the big equalizer to me. Everybody's tires a little wore down, they cool down, and if you put some cars that are good cars, they just didn't finish so well the first race up front, they get in clean air. Nobody can. It's hard for anybody to go anywhere. You have to work harder for your passes. So it's harder to drive the second race.
So how much do you pay attention to, well, all three of you, really, but how much do you pay attention to saving tires? I mean, especially we've been doing the double races, 50 laps, and you do the first race.
me, I don't save anything really. I mean, it's very little unless you're in a position to do so, right? So I think it's really dependent on, you know, how your race is going for you. You know, if you're in a gap and you're not really making headway on the guy in front of you and you got a gap behind you, then you're probably going to just, you know, you're not really going to slow down, but you're just going to take just a tiny bit easier, take 10% out or whatever, just to try to save it a little bit. You know, just try not to spin the tires, keep the car straight, that kind of thing. But, you know, when it comes down to it, I mean, these are sprint races. I mean, you kind of got to go, you know, and there's not a whole lot of saving. I mean, even this past race in the 100-lap race, we pretty much ran pretty hard for 100 laps. I mean, Cole Roos, he ran hard, and I tried to keep pace with him, and wanted to keep him honest. I thought, well, maybe I'll have a chance, you know. Well, no, he kept on going. It was a little bit better than we were, but we pretty much ran about as hard as we could run for 100 laps, you know, without, you know, spinning the tires and, you know, just getting out of control. So, you know, there's sprint races you got to go. You know, there's not a whole lot of saving. Now, obviously, you can play that game, you know, in a twin race, and you know, but if you're running for points, you really can't do that. You pretty much got to go and do the best you can do, get the best average in both races.
I mean, it looks like sometimes, you know, them guys they'll fade back in their races and then get the, you know, you pull a 10, then they end up front, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And I don't blame people to do it. That's the way the rules are written. That's why they still, there's 3 pills in there, so you can't guarantee you're going to be 8. You know, but now, say if you do finish 8th, you're guaranteed you're going to be in that draw. So, of course, your start is 3rd, second race.
It's a sweet spot.
And if you do have a really good car, you can get up front pretty quick usually, and then you know, everybody else is back there. They ran so hard the first race, and they're trying to negotiate through the traffic. Without a caution, by the time you say you do get to the top 3, those guys are gone by straight away. It's just hard. It's hard to beat them, but when you're points racing, you just got to try to run both races the best you can, no matter where it ends up. You know, it's just you're just trying to figure out the averages.
Yeah, I've never. There's not been one race where I've saved anything, so I'm going as hard as I can every lap. So
well,
I
seems
think
like that's the
they're
family
going a
trait.
little
Everybody's
harder.
gonna go, and that's
they're going a little harder than I can. I still haven't got to that edge yet, but I always seem to have better tires in the second race than everybody. I don't think that's a product of saving. I think it's a product of me not finding the limit in the first race. So I don't think a lot. Some people might ride in the first race, but I know I don't. So
how much does your dad help you with all this? I mean, you all spend time talking about you need to do this a little better, you need to do this a little better. Or,
yeah, I mean, I talk to him about certain things, and
and then you go down and talk to Greg, he tells you something else.
I mean, I think
I bounce things off both of them. So
most of it you just got to figure out for yourself. Really, you can talk to it till you're blue in the face, but until you get out and do it, and you actually feel what we're talking about, or you learn by failure usually by doing it the wrong way. You're like, don't do that again.
there's
And that's it's just experience.
yeah, early in my years, I just didn't know the right questions to ask. But now that I've had some experience in a late model and I can ask the right questions and know what they're feeling and know what I'm feeling, it's a lot better than asking them about the Pro 6 or a limited. They had no idea. So
how close do you, I mean, I know the cars come from the same shop and everything, so how close do y'all work with each other as far as working on cars and getting everything together?
Well, for us, I mean, mine, you know, I take care of his, my team takes care of both of ours, and ours are as identical as we can keep them. Greg's got a different program. He's a different chassis builder, different engine builder. He's got his own package that he likes to run. I mean, and they're quite a bit different. You know, his has been successful. We're trying to find something, you know, to compete with it, and we're dialing in on it a little bit each time. But yeah, as far as ours, you know, for the 26 and the 27, I try to keep them as identical as I possibly can. They're 2 different cars, obviously, and you never have 2 that are completely the same, but they're as close as we can get them, and we've done that for a reason, just so that, you know, as we experiment, or, you know, I can try to find something, and if we can find something that works on my car, I'll apply it to his car, and that way it's easier for him, you know, for us to talk, and when he goes out and feels it, then we can talk about it, and I can see what it's doing, and I understand what he's feeling, or what I can see in it. Just to make make the curve for him, the learning curve, a lot quicker, by not him having to, you know, to engineer the whole thing or the setup of what he wants, you know. So obviously he's a different driver, you know, we do have to tweak it a little bit, or we kind of adjust a little bit for his liking, but for the baseline of it, it's very, very close.
Well, I mean, it's being you're both there working together or side by side and have the same type of car, that makes sense. During the racing season or during a race, I know you guys have raced together against each other for years, but how aware of you are each other when you're racing? I mean, like you talk about Donovan, but how aware of you 2 guys? Do you even think about it at all, or
Not. No, not too
Unless
much.
you
I
can see
mean,
him.
we're racing around each other, right with each other, can see him, but he's behind me now. Like I said, if there was an accident, I didn't know about it. They'd like say Danny was in that or something like that, but I don't know. I mean, we're kind of just treat each other like competitors. I think, you know, we're just.
is there a big competition between the 2 of you as far as, I mean, you won championships, God knows how many. I mean, think about it. And then,
For me, it's not.
Yeah.
No, not
It's
really.
not a competition with him more than is anybody else. I mean,
Right.
we're in a competition with everybody, right? So it's not
so
team orders, or there's nothing like that, or there's no.
sibling rivalry.
No, I mean, you know, we're you know, been competitive probably more so in years past than we are now. But I mean, you know, I know he's going to be the guy to beat every week. You know, when show up here, he's the one we're, you know, that we got to go out run, and we can kind of gauge off of that, and then just trying to get better. So, no, I mean, we're all just another car out there when it comes down to it. There's only going to be one winner, so.
That's right.
And you want to be the best for that night, doesn't mean, much more than that. Just want to win that night.
That's one thing, like, we've had some really competitive seasons. I mean, like, where it got very competitive. And my dad would say, just don't tear them. Just don't wreck these race cars, because that doesn't make any sense running 1 and 2. We could have brought him 1, 2 in the shop, but and for the most part, we haven't had any problems with that. Maybe a couple instances, but as much as we've raced together, I think it's been really clean.
Well, I can't say I've raced my brother clean, so I can't say a whole lot about that. But I mean, that's the way it is. Sometimes you think at the competition level, but you guys are, you're out there, got all the championships. I mean, quite obviously, everything's been successful with what you've been doing. And then you've raced other divisions through the years.
Yeah, we both have. I mean, so I did a little short stint in the Busch Grand National. Back then was the Busch Grand National Series back in the mid '90s. And for a few years, a handful of races each year, not a full season or anything like that. And then we both ran the ASA National Tour for a few years part time. So yeah, that's about it.
Dave Talman was helping you then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was helping us.
So I remember because I used to go hang around with Dave Talman some during the time and y'all were doing all that.
Right.
So, well, I mean, it's really cool. And then now Donovan's come along. Donovan, what is your future that you would like to accomplish? Are you happy here? Or are you ready to somewhere down the road when you get all this time in behind you that you go ahead and do something different?
I'm definitely happy here. I'm not don't want to stay here by no means, but it takes a lot to do what we do every week. There's a lot of money that goes in. So, and there's a lot of money goes along if you go adventure out. So, I'm pretty content with what we're doing here until I get some seasons under my belt, and maybe in the future when they migrate out of the sport, we might search and look around and do something. But for now, I would love to race here for the rest of my life and race them. So as long as they're racing here, I want to race here.
All right, let's speak of the rest of his life and whatever. This was supposed to be a part-time season for you and a retirement season. That was a question I got asked this week. Please sure to ask him this question.
Yeah.
So, and now you're back, you're running full-time and going for another championship, and right now the points leader. So, I mean, what changed your mind? I mean, was it just because how good everything was going, you just decided to keep going?
Yes. I mean, that was the game plan was to just run a part-time season, but just one thing led after another. And then to be honest with you, Langley season is for late models is a pretty easy season with the weeks off we get, but it just led into it, and the guys wanted to do it. They didn't want to stop, and then once we got the points lead, it's like, all right, we might as well go for this because you can only do this one time. It might be it, but we could get 8 championships. Nobody's done it, so we decided to stick with it. About midway through the season, and I know I said it last year, but next year we're going to take some time off. I'm going to run the races I want to run. We'll have fun, and I'll still be out here. I'm just not going to be out here every single race. I'm just going to I told myself I'm going to have to miss the first race just to take myself out of that point.
And don't come nowhere near the racetrack.
Yeah. So I have to miss it because, it's a habit. You just do the same thing every year. I've been doing it for so long now, and we're always in these points races. And it's like just doing what I always do. And next thing you know, you're in the points battle. So
I talked with Kenny Schrader one time when we were down in Charlotte, and we were talking about once racing gets in your blood, it never comes out. You may be able to put it aside for just a little bit, but it's going to come back, and it did for me. But I mean, it's got to be that way. He said, the only way you get out of racing is die, because that's the only way it's going to work.
I mean, as far as me and Danny, it's all I've ever done. I mean, it's all I've ever done since I was 12. We were racing something, always. So, I guess it's just something we do. I don't know what else to do.
So what is your plan, Danny? I mean, you going to keep going or just?
I don't know.
Until you just get tired of it?
I'm a couple of championships behind. I think the only way I'm going to get him more when he finally retires, I guess. I don't know. But no, I don't know. So I guess I'll know when it's time. You know, I'm still enjoying it. I mean, I enjoy working on them. As much of a hassle it can be at sometimes
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. Well, now, I've got him, Donovan running, so I got to be here anyway, and I got to do the work. I got to put the time into the job anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I really don't have an answer. So I guess when the time's right and time to step away, I will. But it's still rewarding when after all these years I can still win races, right? So that's tough. As we get like to our age and you're still competitive and you're still able to win. And so I guess, it's hard to kind of give it up at that point. But on the other side, you want to go out, they always say you want to go out when you're doing good, whatever. But so I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in. So.
With the ebbs and flows of racing. I mean, sometimes you're going to be up there and sometimes you're going to be suffering. You're going to try to get back to it. You and I talked one time before. I said, I want to get you on the show. He said, wait till I win another one. And then, you looked at me and said, I don't know when that's going to be.
Going through a rough time there. So, yeah. So it happens. There's a lot of, you always say you lose a lot more than you win.
Right.
Some people come in and they win a lot and make it look easy. Well, it's not going to always be that easy. So sometimes it looks easy, for certain people and at a certain time and certain situations. But if you do it long enough, you'll have those down seasons and down times.
Yeah, but you come out of them pretty strong sometimes. I mean, you're out there just as competitive now as you used to be. But the competition's out there too. So
that's for sure.
I look out there and there's those guys like Woody Howard and those guys that they're going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, Woody's another one. He's a seasoned veteran too.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing it a long time too. So you've got, a lot of experience out here, right here with us and Woody and Mark and quite a few others that are just got a lot of laps around here and still get it done on any given night.
And my son was helping Woody when he was doing the Hooters Pro Cup stuff, and I mean, he was doing really well with that. And then now you come back here and he seems to be right back to where he was before. So that's a pretty cool deal. And you guys are sitting right on top of the hot of the heap right now. So that's a pretty cool deal for y'all. So I really think it's another championships is in the works here. And then Danny says, go ahead and take your retirement.
Yeah, I think where he messed up, he said he wasn't going to run all the races. He was going to run the first two and then take them. I was like, well, that's the worst thing you can do is run the first two. I know it's going to happen. But no, it's all good. I'm glad to maybe I don't know where the points are, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But one more race to go. See how we get there.
So I mean, I know you're paying attention to where it is in the points, but you guys, you're not really paying attention to what's going on with the points until it gets time to do so.
No, I mean, as far as I don't know where his situation, I don't know what his lead is or what he's got to do or how many cars have to show up. I mean, if I was in his position, I'd be calculating that all, and knowing what I got to do is just start the race, or is he locked up? I don't know. I mean, you got locked up, or depending on how many cars show up, or
30 points.
30 points. Okay, so yeah, so it's pretty much done. So, I mean, I still got a chance to get second, but that's a long shot. So I think I'm about 8 points behind Woody, but Woody's running well. So, I don't wish no bad luck on anybody, but mathematically, we could get the second. But
what about these
too.
younger guys that are coming in, Donovan and all these other younger guys coming into the sport right now and racing against you guys? I mean, it's really good for them to be able to race against the veterans like you guys have, that you are. I mean, it's really cool for that. But we do have some talent coming along behind it. I know y'all race with them, so I don't know how.
Got a lot of talent coming. I mean, all these limited drivers that are coming up, they're just loads of talent, these young kids. So we've already raced with quite a few of them, and there's more coming up. So I'm looking forward to it. Just like seeing these young kids, these new generation of late model drivers. I think that limited class has been such a good class, for Langley and getting that talent ready, because before that, really, to me, the Legends are probably the best spot for a kid to come up in. But in that, you're not in a full-size car. Things are different. I think you just learn so much more from the limited. And so when they get in these late models, they're ready. I mean, they're ready to go.
Well, I mean, that's the way it looks, because there's some kids moving up that are really, really good at it. So really, it's going to be a lot of fun.
a lot of great talent. It's good, it's good to get to race with them, and for them to see how we do it. That way they can kind of get a feel for what what the better and how the races are run, and how they go, and hopefully they'll continue on the sport and respect the sport like like we have, and do it the right way.
Do you see? I mean, with the times that with Donovan, let's just use Donovan for an example. I'm sure you got Donovan working on cars and being out there part of that. But do you see that as an important thing that these kids need to do, is be a part of getting out there and working on these cars to know what they got to deal with?
That's like I told him, and don't you're going to have to be here doing it. So he works on my car, we works on his car. We all work on them together. And I pretty much told him, you don't want to do it. If you want to race, then you're going to have to put in the time. So that's, we're not doing it for him. He's not sitting home playing video games while we're in the shop, working. The only way you're going to learn to get better is to be there doing it and learning what's going on, so you have a better understanding for the car. So that's going to be the thing that a lot of these younger drivers are going to have to get on board with if they want to excel, get it further in their career, unless they're just going to continue to hire people to do it for them. The money, that's the other thing too. In this sport, it's very expensive. So as long as they can, stay the course and keep with it for a long period of time, they can advance their career. But you need to learn a little bit, and make sure you can.
I definitely think getting in the shop makes you want to race a lot more, want to win a lot more, because what you put in, the time you put in, effort. And I really think just watching these guys in the shop or on the track and having that respect for them, it pays a lot. So
that's part of it. I mean, you get to see from probably two of the best.
Yeah.
So you see what it takes and everything, and it looks like it would be a whole lot of fun to be a part of that, and to have your car and have that, have everybody working on your car, and you be in there and looking at see what goes on. What bothers me the most, and I'll ask both you and Greg about this, Danny, but kids today that come in, we've seen it here at Langley, we've seen it in some other places, and I could tell you names and stuff too. They come in, they have the money to have a car, but yet they don't respect it.
I call them steering wheel holders.
There's a few.
It's a lot of iRacing. There's no reset buttons in these race cars. You can crash them all up. You just can't hit the reset button. Somebody's got to fix that car. Somebody's got to fix the other cars you tore up. And that's why I think being in the shop and you realizing how much work is put in to fix these cars, how much blood, sweat, and tears. So if a kid just crashes, it gets out, takes his helmet, walks away, I don't have much free use for them.
Well, then you see a lot of that now.
It happens all through the sport, right? Yeah. From even the top levels or whatever. Happens a lot. So
I think it gives you respect when you realize how much work goes into it. So that, it'll just keep you from. It may keep you from making certain moves that might have won, but it's probably keep you from being torn up quite as much. And,
multiple times this year that I've double guessed myself just to be sure. I don't want to be that guy in my first year tearing stuff up. Make sure I'm smooth. And
it's like when I was racing, I was paying my own bills. I had to pay. If I was going to do it, I had to do it myself. I had to get out there and work on the car. I guess I shouldn't say it out loud, but I had a brother that did not go that direction. Mm-hmm. And he had somebody helping him, and they got the car together and everything. He'd come in from wherever he was at, drive the car, get back in the car, and go home. And
I'm saying you can do that, and some people have very good respect by that. I mean, I know some kids that don't work that much, haven't worked that much. They've been very successful, but I'm not saying that every kid that doesn't work on their car doesn't have respect. Because some do. Yeah. I've seen some very good drivers, but there's a lot of them. It makes you earn the respect, or it makes you have to have respect. Now, there's a situation. There's a point for every situation where you got to push it and take the chance, depending on the size of the race or what we're racing for. Sometimes it's worth the risk to take the chance. Yeah. And everybody knows when those situations are. But if we're running fourth, don't go 3 wide and do something stupid, just tear cars. It makes no common sense for anybody.
That makes for a long night there. So So what is your plans for the, I mean, rest of the season? Are you gonna run any other races other than Langley, or are you?
As of right now, no, I don't have any plans. I mean, let's just get through this next race. You know, there's some races. I always used to like going to Myrtle Beach. That was like one of my favorite racetracks. I feel like we ran good there every time we went. And so maybe that Myrtle Beach weekend when everybody goes to Florence or where we'll consider something, but we have made no plans right now.
Hope you do go down there, because it'd be a lot of fun to have you down there. What about you, Donovan? You got anything?
Nothing yet. You know, just try to get through this last race and get everything together and try to go out the next year.
Get him on shoulder. Be ready to go somewhere, try something else.
We'll get a little more experience, give him a little more seat time, work into it the right way.
Florence is a different racetrack. Go down there for your first time and have to race on that place. It's pretty wild. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. I mean, it meant a lot to me to have you here. So thanks a lot. Good luck to you. I hope you get that championship. Nothing happens as you just you can walk right on through it and get it. And then you go out and get out and ride your horse or whatever you're going to do that. Then Danny can go ahead and get his next one. So. And then Donovan can go get his first one. So that would be cool. But thank you guys for being here. I mean, it meant a lot to me with this weather like it is. I know Greg's, he's had a rough day already. So
appreciate you having us.
Thank you for being here. And hopefully we can do it again sometime and get everybody here and talk. So, all right. Well, I appreciate it. All right. Well, we'll let you guys go play in the rain if you want to go home.
Good morning, buddy.
Thank you a lot. I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Andy, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Am I gonna be nice?
Are you serious?
I didn't tell you, they're gonna park my UCAR once he retires in the garage. He's off to work on it.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Come on over here.
You gonna sit with me?
You gonna sit in her lap? She missed you the
Oh
other day.
my goodness.
Oh. I mean, get serious for a second. Having those three guys here was a big deal.
Incredible.
I mean, I did not expect all three of them to be here.
I
And
could
then
listen to them all night, man.
when I got Danny and I got Donovan, Greg went right for it, right when I said it. So I was sticking with that. And then we got Crystal with.
I can't follow that.
That's how we follow that up.
I mean, they really are great people. Like, I always joke around with Danny, and I'm like, so, let me join the team, and he's like, no, you're a lot.
Heather Ziedrich and Jody and Aiden are thanking us for Saturday. We were glad we were able to do that and have everybody here on Saturday. Appreciate what Adam did as far as letting Aiden start the race or making the call to start the race. I mean, it's really cool that we had that, and we really appreciate Crystal for letting us have that race. I mean, we kind of just took it over.
Yeah, I mean, the whole track was up there just about.
At one
Some
time,
point,
I looked
crowded.
up one time, and Sparky was coming through the door, and it looked like he was going, what is going on?
You said you were having 3 people here. What?
So that's pretty cool. All right, let's talk about your racing season.
Okay.
Are we having fun yet?
Yeah, I always have fun. I have some of to me, I have some of the best drivers in my division. We all joke on each other. We all have our moments, but at the end of the day, we do respect each other, even though there's heated moments in racing. We're all out there to win. We're all out there to be the points chaser. We want to be better than the other guys. So it's a constant battle. And, just not too many races ago, my motor blew in practice, first lap. And I was fighting for 5th, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And it just so happened that Kyle Davis, who races UCAR, the number 52, he said, why don't you borrow mine? I don't like to do that because if I tear something up, I pay for it all. That's just how I've always been. And so I said, sure, no big deal. I'll borrow it. So I made sure I gave him some money. Well, I knew that we were all going to do so much with it. I knew it. But he said, whatever you do, my mom said to keep it in one piece. I said, yeah, tell your mom it's going to be fine. That is not what happened. But we did finish in the lead lap, thanks to a caution, and I was able to still maintain my fifth, place in points. So it was really nice, and especially to have drivers like that. Jeremy came down. We ran very, very, very old tires. We didn't even know if they were going to make it throughout the race. The seat, I could not touch the pedals. We were trying to put like pillows or something behind my back just to reach the pedals. But I mean, it was just so nice to know that you had competitors in that division that was willing to help you.
Well, that's the way it is here at Langley. I mean, a lot of people will help, as long as you don't have a beef with them, they're helping with everything they got to help you get going and keep you going. So, you got a group of folks in that division.
Oh, I 100% do.
Chris Hitchcock.
Who's that?
Chris Myers.
Oh. He's playing with his race cars.
Chris is a good guy.
Yeah, he was really
He's a
cool to
good
come up
guy.
here. And,
He really
he
is.
wasn't even racing. He came up here.
His son will be in enduros in a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
More years.
So I think that's the way it should be. You gotta let them kids do it. Now, on top of everything else, we're getting ready to go on a cruise. Not together, but we'll be together.
We will.
So, I mean, that's
Good luck,
gonna be
everybody
fun.
else, man.
That's gonna be fun to do too. I mean, so. Are you glad the season's almost over?
I am. It's funny because when you were talking about points, you can't chase points because every week I look at the points. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Because we've had a really rough season. From the motor blowing to finishing, I think, last in 2 races, it has just been a struggle. And, to come back and tie right now for 5th place, it's between me and Lee, and Jeremy's 2 points behind me. And, I told Jeremy the other day, I was like, you got your, and when he won, I was so happy with the thought I won. Like, I'm banging the steering wheel, like, yeah, because he's come so far. I mean, he technically just started racing last year, so for him to win is wonderful. But I'm like, okay, you need to sit down now, like, because you're 2 points behind me, and you need to sit down. I need my 5th place. But I am glad, and I wish that we could race all season just because I enjoy it. But like Danny was saying, like, I work a lot. I have it's funny because Brandy Marshall laughs at me all the time because of my job, because I walked in with a business suit on and she's like, who are you? I said, don't be funny. But I have a tedious job where I travel a lot. So I will be traveling to Carolina or something, or Dallas, and I'm traveling that whole week. And Sparky's like, if you're not in here to fix this car, you don't race. And I'm like, are you serious? He goes, I don't care. I'm not going to sit in this garage for the time in the car if you're not here. So I fly back in on Friday. I'm in the garage, or Saturday morning, we wake up early to do what we need to do, and then we're at the track. So if I'm not in that garage fixing that car, I do not race.
Now, wait a minute. I mean, you got a job that
He says he does too.
Well, that's probably true too. But the thing is, your job took you away. Sparky, come on, man. Get with the program.
I mean, it's a good thing, because then if something, so when I explain what's wrong with my car, I don't know the terminology. So I get so aggravated. I'll come off the track because I'm like, you don't understand. You don't hear the car's missing. He's like, the car sounds fine. I'm like, no, the car's going. He's like, what the hell does that mean? But I don't know the terminology, so I don't know how to explain it to him. So I'm constantly saying it's not doing this or it's not doing that. But I'm mowing worse than me on that track. I mean, literally, we put another motor in. The car, to me, I thought was a lot slower. I was talking to Fontaine and I said, I'm going to suck. This is horrible. He was like, I don't think so. I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, you're just trying to make me feel better. He goes, Crystal, I'm telling you, it's not all about power. Watch.
Well, that's true.
And I got out there and practiced and ran a 19.1. He goes, I told you. He said, how do you feel now? So, you know, it was, and he's big on encouraging him, Bill Eaker. You know, Bill Eaker's like the GOAT in UCAR division for us. You know, we all look up to him, and he taught me a lot when I started racing. Thomas is constantly giving me pointers on how to drive a loose car because loose is fast. So as you see him every week, sideways.
You ain't kidding. This past weekend, he was all up sideways and whatever. Well, weekend before last, whenever it was.
But he can control it.
Yep.
He's very good. So he tries to help me out with that, and he'll tell me what to do. It's just really, I'm very, very happy to be in a division with people like that. And, you know, it's big. And I respect everybody in the division. And especially when they try to help me and give me pointers and things like that. So I take what they have to say. But my biggest problem, and Thomas was behind me. So he likes to joke around, and he got called out on it by Justin. It's hilarious. On the backstretch, he hit me on my tail because he had qualified bad that night. And I qualified fourth. He said, I'm coming through. I'm like, well, you're going to have to get to me. Well, he said, I just kissed your back bumper. I didn't do anything wrong. But, you know, and I told him, I said, well, one day I'm going to return the favor because one day I'll figure the car out. But I'm still learning, but I'm just my own worst enemy when it comes to the turns and being patient. I am not a patient person.
Well, I mean, in some ways, you're going to have to be a patient person when you get in these race cars and everything.
Yeah.
You got to be patient with Sparky.
No. No. When it comes to competitiveness, I know that, you know, that Edwards is like, oh, no, we're not. No. My whole job in life is to beat him in anything. I don't care if it's eating pizza the fastest or running to the corner store the fastest. Whatever he does, I'm going to do better. That is how it is.
Poor Spark. Poor Spark.
You should see
What
us
he
on
signed up
Wacky.
for, Jack.
You should see us on Wacky Wednesday because that's the only race that we could actually race together. So we were the Ultimate 8 came out and I beat him, and everybody in the stand said that I beat him, and they told him he was the winner. I got out of the car. I was throwing my helmet. I was so mad. If it would have been anybody else, I think I would have been fine, but it was him. I knew I beat him.
So, didn't get it after all, huh?
No, dang it. Now, I do win more on Wednesdays. I do win more on Wednesdays than I do ever on Saturday.
So you like the Wacky Wednesday, so.
I do. It's where you start at. It's, you know, you bring your car here. I'm really big on promoting Wacky Wednesday. You bring your street car here, and it gives a taste. So we have one of the Wacky Wednesday guys, Logan. I mean, his dad was talking. I said, why don't you get him an Enduro or UCAR? So now they are thinking about building more for next year.
There you go.
Well, I mean, that's or you got to go somewhere to get started. That's the way to do it. So, are you down the road? Would you really like to get into something bigger, a little more power, a little more?
So
Go unseat Sparky out of his car.
I feel like my personal opinion with that is, if you can't succeed in one division, why go to another? That's just how I feel personally, not a dig against anybody. But if I can't win a championship in the current division I'm in, what makes me think I can do better in any other division?
That's a good way to look at it.
So, I mean, and then plus I drive a front-wheel drive car, which if I go to any other division, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me. So if I can do a championship, you know, for at least a year or two and win one, then I would think about it. Now, if somebody wants to rent me a limited late model for a race, just so I can get out there and kind of hurt somebody's feelings, I wouldn't mind doing that.
Sparky let you in there one
No,
time.
I want to go against him.
Oh,
That's
you
all.
want to ride? Okay, never mind. Never mind.
We told Bill Eaker, we were like, let's use your car for one race, just so it could be equal. I just want to be equal. But
Jace Rogers says hi.
hey, it's funny. I tried to watch my behavior around him. I tell Shipley all the time, like, because I sometimes can come across a little aggressive. Sometimes, you know.
Who, you?
Yeah. It's very hard to believe that, you know, it is. It's very hard to believe that I would be aggressive. But, you know, people have said that I am a little aggressive, you know. But I don't think I'm aggressive. I think I'm competitive. And so Jay's, I'll always, pound him or I tell him he's doing a great job. And he's like, so you were out there and you got mad and turned the car. I'm like, nope, that's not what happened, So I'm like, I'm a horrible person. Like I need to be a better role model.
So what? I mean, think about it now. I'm gonna be honest. You have a following here at the racetrack. I can think of 3 or 4 people that, I mean, their thought is, we're gonna go watch Crystal West race.
Oh gosh, everything. Well, Aiden seen my car, did not know me and seen my car. Says, "Oh, I know that car." I'm like, "That is horrible." I was like, "Is it for a good thing?" He goes, "No." But it feels good. It feels good, and I get a lot of people reach out to me, and especially little girls. We went to Dixieland not too long ago, and there was probably about 10 little girls that ran up to me and was like, "Crystal," and it made me feel like a movie star.
But that's the way it is. I mean, you are here, you are a racer, and you got that. You got the personality to do it. That's the
I
thing.
love it. I love it. Like my girls, I have 2. My girls are watching tonight too. I have a 7 and 10-year-old, which they are in go-karts. I am not as good as Danny with my child racing. Chris Bechtel had to remove me off the track because I was going to have a massive heart attack watching them race. But I'm scared to death of that. But they do want to follow the footsteps. They want to get into racing. I am still working on that personally because I just don't know how people do it. But that's why I come out here. Like I think the track took a picture of my daughter buckling me in last race for practice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it means the world to me for them to be a part of my racing. My grandbaby's a year old. She comes out here, little headphones on, so, and that's what really matters to me is the kids that's out here because they are out there, the little flaggers out there in every little aisle, they're so excited to see us race. And I think we need to do better at, making them proud. I would like to do more meet and greets. We used to do it at Langley Speedway where we opened up and we used to do meet and greets and be able to talk to the fans and things. And I really think that we should do that again.
Yeah, I think they need to open it up and say, okay, y'all come down and get autographs or whatever. We've done it a couple times since I've been, in the last couple of years, we've done it a couple times.
Yeah, we did one last year. Probably could have done one this past weekend, to be honest with you. They plan them last second, so it's kind of tough to pull off. And when they plan them ahead of time, sometimes we run out of time. Qualifying runs late. Qualifying ends early. We could probably do it more often.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
That would be cool because that's the way these kids get to know the people that are racing. Get to, they're already idolizing. So let's
it's one thing to put a face to a race car.
as long as you don't go in there and bust their bubble with, and a lot of people do. A lot of these guys that race, girls that race, and they burst the bubble of the person that's there. I've seen them at Richmond. I've seen them at these. They'll run up to. Guess I shouldn't call her name out, but Danica Patrick when she was racing, they'd run up to her and she would avoid them. She wouldn't even talk to them. And that's not the way it should be. That's not the way it should be at all.
No, they want to be us. That's why they run up to you because they're so excited. Not to mention I'm a girl and I'm out here racing with these boys like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And actually they do it at Wacky Wednesday too. We had a family coming from Texas and she waited until I left to meet me and she wanted to take a picture with my race car. And she's like, I want to be just like you. And then, things like that is just why we do it. It's exciting,
What about the first time? I mean, and it happened to me. The first time at Southampton, I think I finished second that night, and these kids come running up to me and I need you to sign our. I ain't never signed an autograph before, but I'm gonna tell you what, it makes you feel 10 feet tall when they ask you to.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So that's the way we ought to be. I mean, that's the way people ought to be with all these. And we got some good people with fans.
Yes, we
really,
do.
really do.
Had 3 of them here tonight.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
It's so funny because Danny was like, don't suck. I'm like, I'll try not to. But it's just like, for instance, I'm the PTA vice president for my kids' school. And we get all the Langley family together and they come out for our fall festival in October. And it's usually about 9 cars from Langley, and they have a little area for us and an area for the trailers, and we give out candy. But it's a way to get following for the drivers as well. They'll put like a QR code in the candy bag, and they'll get followers. And of course, you know, they get to sit inside the race cars, and they get to meet people. Raleigh Rondeau came out last year, and they got to see a child, you know, a kid of their age, and they were so excited. And so that was really big. And every year they look forward to that. And we're talking, I mean, there's so many kids that come out for this fall festival. So, and then we have, we do a lot of like give backs as far as like church and things like that goes. And I got selected for career day. So my job is done as enticing to children as me being a race car driver. So, you know, we brought the race car out to the school and we started it up, and, you know, we were able to sign. I actually purchased, Ryan Matthews did my hero cards, and I purchased the hero cards just to give out to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders of the school.
I've done that before too.
And just with my signature, some of the parents have emailed me and told me that my little hero cards on their wall, like it's a poster of some type of famous person. So, and these children has came out to the racetrack actually.
Well, see, the thing about it is, I remember now, Scott makes a big deal out of it and makes a joke out of it. But we always had kids' night at Southampton. And shut up. The fun part was to get the kids in the car and let them ride around the track in the car. You make a couple laps and then you go off.
They did it at Dixieland this past weekend.
I ran some laps, and we were getting down close to the end of the race. I was probably in the top 5 somewhere, 6, something like that. And the guy on the radio said, 2 laps to go, and I pulled off the track and drove through the pit and come back up the other side, because we had a hill you had to climb to get to the track. Climbed up the other side, and I sat there and watched my race finish. And he finished with the victory lane. I shot out on the track and come around so I could be first in line to have the kids in the car with me. And everybody's joked on me ever since then. But that was the most important thing to me. And you wouldn't believe how many kids enjoy, you know, being in the car, being a part of that. One of the kids that rode with me that night, he's not with us anymore, but I mean, you know, he loved it. I mean, he thought that was the greatest thing in the world, sitting right there. So it was really cool. So
I like it. I enjoy it. Now my 10-year-old gives me a hard time. Haven will, like, we're at Dixieland and the kids are running up to me. They're like, "That's my mom." I'm like, "Stop." So she gets a little jealous. It's funny because they always go and talk to Adam all the time. They just run up to Adam and start talking to Adam.
They always got something to say. Something about Crystal, something about what they're doing. West Racing is expanding.
well,
You know, and anytime that something, you know, negative happens, like I try to keep my kids out of anything. Like if there's a bad, and it's funny because I won't let them have the headset when I'm racing, just in case anything happens. But they stand there and they watch me go around the track every lap.
Yep.
And if they see something wrong or me bump somebody or somebody hit me, their little hands are going up and they're going up. They're so upset for me, but you know, I keep on rubbing is, you know, racing, you know, rubber's racing, so they don't understand
yeah,
that.
you had you know, something happened out there not too long ago, but you had a whole bunch of people willing to go out there after that one's over with. I got one sitting over here beside me.
I was down there.
You know, it's one of those things where there's a lot of money put in these race cars, and it's not funny to go out there and tear somebody's car up. And in my defense, I did not do that. So I will not take the blame for that because I didn't tear anybody's car up. Now, am I in agreement with what happened? Of course not. Race cars cost a lot of money, and I don't believe that anybody's stuff should be tore up. Now, I race people very clean. When I go to pass somebody, and you can ask Lee this, because me and Lee just 2 races ago were in and out constantly and switching positions just for our 5th. And we had the best race, which he posted on his social media page. And we showed that you could race somebody without wrecking them. So, you know, it to me was a great race. And that's the way racing should be about. You should be able to race somebody and pass somebody without dumping them or putting their car in the wall. And, you know, that's what it means to me. So if I purposely do something to someone, I will own it. I will own my own dirt 100% because I'm that person. But I want to make this very clear. I don't have a single problem with anyone in my division I race with. Not a single person. Now, you know, other people I might have problems with, but not anybody in my division.
I'm not even gonna ask about that, so I'm not gonna ask about that one at all. All right, I see where Pat has on here. Let's see if we can get him on. Pat Patterson, are you there?
I don't know. Am I? Am I there?
I don't see you, but I hear you.
Well, let's see here.
Oh, well. We'll come back to him when he comes back up there. Still not there. Yeah. Hello.
Hey, you got me?
No, we don't have a picture, but we'll just go on and do the interview like this if you don't mind.
Well, I can, if I can figure out how to get the camera on, I'll be more than happy to turn it on. I just don't know exactly. I'm not exactly Mr. Zoom oriented here, so I'm not sure exactly.
Join the club.
Join the
club. If I didn't have people telling me what to do, I wouldn't know what to do either.
Yeah, I see a little camera down there at the bottom. Then I clicked it, and I think that's how I lost you a second ago.
Yeah, I think you did again.
What a raise! It went from PG-13 to what?
Oh well.
I didn't say anything.
All right, well we'll go with this. Pat, I'll tell you, it's an honor and a privilege to have you with us tonight. And
I'm glad to be here, Jack.
I mean,
you're quite welcome.
I had an interesting conversation with Lenny Baticki a couple weeks ago, and he sung your praises and talked about you and everything, how you helped him out and everything like that to help him get started. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get Pat on my show because I've really tried hard to keep, get the people in there that mean a lot to the sport, and you do mean a lot to the sport.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm very partial to short tracks and the smaller racetracks around the country, because certainly had it not been for an opportunity to become a PA announcer, if you will, in Myrtle Beach back in the late 70s and later on at Colorado Springs, Colorado, when I got out of the Army. If it hadn't have been for a few people that kind of encouraged me to do it, I didn't grow up, in a quote unquote racing family. I didn't grow up knowing, I only really knew one guy that raced over at Caraway Speedway when I grew up in Asheboro, North Carolina. So it was quite honestly nothing I would have ever thought about doing from a career standpoint. And probably even in the first 10 years of doing it, I still couldn't believe I was actually able to make a living and pay my bills, being involved in racing. So,
what are some of the things that you can think of that have been like highlights in your career as a commentator or a turn announcer or an announcer of any kind?
Well, there are so many things that happened along the way that I never, I look back now and I go, wow, how'd you end up doing that? Probably one of the most unique things was I had a friend of mine named Ned Jarrett, who most all of you know, and Dale Jarrett's dad and so forth. Ned had quit racing, and this was been in the 70s. In the late 70s, and Ned was working with Anheuser-Busch, and I was selling program ads for the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Ned had his own show back then called Ned Jarrett's World of Racing.
Yep.
And I had begged the Motor Racing Network, that really had just kind of gotten going in the late 70s and early part of the 80s, begged those guys to, can I work for you guys? Can I, part-time, anytime, do this, do that? And they just didn't have anything going on. And one of my dear friends, Bill Hennessy, who's been around the sport forever, he said, well, just start your own radio show. And I did. I started my radio show. It's called On Pit Road. And why was it called On Pit Road? Because I heard more people with that phrase than any other phrase. We're going on pit road. They're down on pit road. Let's go down on pit. It's like, okay, well, that makes sense. Do a show called On Pit Road. So anyway, so Ned helped me figure out how to basically produce a radio show. He actually gave me his contact over in Newton, North Carolina, where there was a fellow there that could actually produce. I didn't have any equipment. I mean, I didn't have much of anything actually. And Ned got me involved with a friend of his that ran a radio station over there. Long story short, Rick Hendrick, who at that time only owned one car dealership in Charlotte. That's how far back it goes. Rick was kind enough to loan me a small amount of money, but it was a big amount of money to me back then, to buy some equipment. And that equipment allowed me to make cassette tapes. Okay. And I made cassette tapes and I duplicated them and I sent them via the mail. There was no social media. There was no internet. There wasn't any of that stuff. So we called and got radio stations to play our little 30-minute On Pit Road radio show. And we literally would produce that during the day on Monday in my little office there in Charlotte. And we would take it to Newton on Monday nights where Ned produced his show. And that fellow up there would actually master it onto a tape that I could later put onto a cassette duplicator. Yes, there is such a thing as a cassette duplicator. And we would, and it took about 8 minutes to actually record 3 cassettes with the show on it. So at one time we had 260 radio stations that were taking the show. So you can tell how long we were up at night on Monday nights to come up with 256 copies of that to mail out by the time the mail took it on Tuesday morning. Long story short, just the idea that a kid with no college degree and just some friends helping him could create a radio show. That to me was a big deal. Later on, it became a TV show, which was another step forward. Yep.
I remember that.
That was a big deal. And then we got involved with the Nashville network, which also was something I never would have believed. And we did a show called Race Day on TNN for a long time. And probably one of the things that's outstanding is we did the Sprint Car World Series. It was the first time the World of Outlaws had ever been on live television, ever. And we did that for a couple of years out in the desert where I live now. So, I mean, there's been all kinds of crazy stuff. I covered drag racing with ESPN for a couple of years. Just a lot of different things. But I always owned my own company. I never worked full time for any other entity. I've always worked for myself. I know that is a real long answer to your question.
No, it's very interesting to hear you say that. I mean, I really love your show on Sundays, when you do your show on Sunday before the race. I really enjoy that. So I know you've been around it a long time, but you didn't back up none when you became friends with Lenny Venticchia, because, sometimes people say you get friends with Lenny Venticchia, you might back up a little bit.
Lenny's a good boy. Lenny goes back many years with myself. And again, I mentioned Bill Hennessy's name. Bill was the general manager of WKZQ in Myrtle Beach for over 30 years. But more importantly, Bill was really the guy who started and helped develop PRN. Before Doug Rice was there, before anybody else was there, Bill was there. And Bill, through our friendship, got me involved with PRN and actually did my first race with them in 1981. And Lenny showed up somewhere along the way in the middle 80s. I can't remember exactly. He was racing BMX bicycles and doing this and doing that. But Lenny was one of those guys, just got this infectious personality. Just he's excited about, racing. And he later on got a job at the North Carolina Motor Speedway and did PR for them and worked for Richard Childress and did a lot of great things. And we were always proud to have Lenny. be kind of part of our little posse, and still to this day, he comes on my show on Sirius XM. He comes on my show every Saturday morning, and he does his little thing about with all of the short track racing around the country and this, that, and the other. But he's been a good friend, and if you know Lenny and if he's a friend of yours, you're okay as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because he really, when we started doing this show, and we were struggling a little bit to start with, but we were doing it for fun, so it really didn't bother us too much where we were at. We got hanging out with Lenny at Charlotte and everything, and he really spent some time talking to us and telling us what we needed to do. And you're right, when you have Lenny on your side, great things can happen.
Well, he's another one of those guys that, whether he meant to or not, ended up kind of dedicating his life to racing, and found a niche that worked for him, still does work for him. And he's managed to be a valuable part of Speedway Motorsports and Bruton Smith, now Marcus Smith, and their group. And he never forgets his friends. And if you meet Lenny once, you've met him 1,000 times. He's the same guy every time.
You got that right. But one of the things he wanted me to ask you about was your racing career when you were racing the dash cars.
I had a great time. I spent about 5 years racing all kinds of things, but the dash cars were probably one of the most fun ones. And I got a chance to race at Langley, and I got a chance to race at Daytona, and I got a chance to race at Charlotte and Bristol and all these places with the Dash Series. It was a ton of fun. Greatest group of people you could want to strap up and go compete against. We took the whole thing really serious. We had really serious sponsors, and I like to joke with everybody, and I tell them I was the best sixth place finisher you ever met. And I could back up. I could sit on the pole one night, and I could back up to six real quick, and I'd stay right there. I didn't drive a race car ever, any kind of race car, till I was 32 years old. So
wow.
I didn't grow up racing cars. I grew up trying to make a living, but through doing all this television and radio, I got an opportunity to go to all these different schools and everything from Bondurant to you name it. And we went to all of them because we did feature stories on them. And one day, because I've always been a competitive athlete, so to speak, I asked myself the question. I said, wonder if I could actually race like in a group of people. You know what I mean? And I figured out I could. It was a lot of fun. I raced in the Dash Series. I raced in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. I raced in the Southwest Tour. My partner and I, Steve Portengay, won the championship in 1997. Steve.
I didn't know that. I remember you doing the Hooters Pro Cup Series. I don't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We ran that. We ran a lot of 24 hours of Daytona, the 12 hours of Sebring, all of those sports car races. Did a lot of sports car racing over that period of time, and I had a ball. I had a really good time, but I got a very late start, and because of that, I was never able to really get to the point where I like to kid with people. I could take almost any car you wanted to put me in, and I would get within a second of the lead cars. And it's like my buddy would remind me. He'd say, "Pat, that second is where the actual race is." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." So it's like, you can get in there, you can get out in there and do some things, but it takes a special kind of human to be able to pass and to be able to run competitively and to win races. And I got my belly full of it, and I had a good time.
Well, Pat, how much did that help you with what you're doing now with commentating and looking at the races and analyzing and announcing? How did that help you with that?
I don't think you have to have driven a race car to be a good announcer, number one. I do believe that if you've strapped up competitively and you've raced competitively, and if you've gone through the grind of it, which is of course finding sponsorship, is fixing wrecked race cars, it's finding people to help you. It's that whole experience that I believe gives you some insight as to what it takes, to compete. And I don't care what level you're on, if you're a hobby stock racer or you're a this or that, it's all the same. All the work is all for that brief 20 or 30 laps that you get to race, because all the rest of it is just work, and it's unbelievably hard. And I have the greatest respect for anybody that loads up, I don't care what kind of race car it is, and heads to their local short track week in and week out, because people just don't know. They just don't know how hard it is to do that. So my racing gave me, because I ended up owning all that stuff and buying all that stuff and late model cars and you name it. I learned a lot. And what I learned mostly is the dedication it takes to do all of the hard work. And then to be able to get there, put your helmet on, compartmentalize, get away from the how much do I owe everybody for all this stuff on Monday, actually go out there and compete at a high level. It takes a special kind of human to do that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I learned to respect a lot, and I learned a lot about when somebody says the car is loose or it's tight in the middle or it pushes off or it's this or it's that. I'm sitting there going, yep, I've felt every one of those things. I know exactly what they're talking about. So if that, that helps me, I think I can see what the car's doing in the middle of a corner, maybe a little bit better than maybe the average fan that's watching it in the middle of the corner. But I think it gave me a lot of insight, but I always tell people, I have met and worked with some of the greatest announcers in the world that's never made a lap in a race car. And so I think it's been helpful for me, but not necessarily a prerequisite for being a quality broadcaster.
Well, Pat, we appreciate it, you being with us tonight and spend a couple minutes with us. Hopefully you'll let me call you back and get you back on here again, and we'll talk some more.
Anytime.
I hope I run into you sometime down there around Charlotte when I come down there. I'll be at the Charlotte race, and hopefully we'll run into each other down there.
Well, that'd be great, and best of luck with your program, and appreciate what you do, and appreciate the fact that you take time to expose drivers and sponsors and talk about racing, because it's all of you and me and everybody together that keeps the sport growing, and that's an important thing. So thank you a lot, Jack. We appreciate it, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon.
All right. We'll talk to you real soon, and hopefully be at Charlotte, and thank you for all your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
I kind of vaguely remember him racing. And then when Lenny and I sat down and talked about it, it dawned on me, oh yeah, I remember now. Remember it well. So he ran the Dash Series. I thought that them little cars around Charlotte, Daytona, that was unbelievable. It's like Crystal West taking her UCAR out there.
Every other track, they'll be so lucky I can't drive on their track, because UCARs are pretty much limited to Langley, unless we change a whole bunch of stuff just to be competitive.
Well, do you have visions and want to go somewhere else?
I would like to race a track with banking, to be honest, because I've only raced here. I've never raced anywhere with banking, so I would like to attempt it.
Dominion.
I heard Dominion's a fast track.
It is fast.
So
Any track with banking is gonna be fast.
I've never done it. I've only raced here, so I probably wouldn't know what to do with banking.
Well,
You
it's
lift later, and
a lot of people say it's a lot easier to do.
it holds the car in place a little easier.
Somebody told me if you can race at Langley, you can race anywhere else.
That's a true statement.
So while he was talking, I had a good idea for your show.
What's that?
I think you should do a Q&A sessions. Like have the audience and fans and people.
We've tried to do that. Nobody wants to do it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, serious.
She needs all her questions. There you go. And he's got the first question.
What's he got?
Sparky finished the deviled eggs.
Oh,
Thank you for your question.
I think he did. I actually do not like deviled eggs, and Eddie is the first person that has actually made deviled eggs I will eat. They are very good. And then Brandy, I think she got mad because I didn't bring enough, to be honest. But they were very good.
Well, you know how it is.
But I just thought the Q&A would be pretty fun because
I'm still waiting on Brandon to bring the dessert she was supposed to bring the other
yeah, right. I'm Betty Crocker. Don't let her lie to you. But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun because it's always fun because Mosquito and him and his wife, they always want me to get them laughing because they're such a good group of people.
Oh,
they
gosh.
truly are.
I can't go down through there. I cannot go down through there at night. They ain't hollering at me.
I get flagged down every time. Oh, here we go.
And they'll say, "What are you going in there? What are you going in to find out tonight?" When I was going inside, what are you going to find out tonight? What are you looking at? I mean, he's interested and wants to know what's going on.
He said you were talking crap about me on the show.
Who,
He's like,
Rob?
you weren't there, and we were all talking stuff about you. I'm like,
When Rob was here?
500 show.
Oh, 500 show.
Oh, maybe.
he's like, you were supposed to be here, but they are so much fun. So it's funny because he's always asking questions. So that's why I was like, well, a Q&A show would be fun, to have people ask their favorite drivers questions. And
I would like to, and one of the things we're going to look at probably next year is maybe a couple times a year we go out to the stage and do a show out there at the stage during race weekend. And that I think that would be a lot of fun to do.
Be cool to have people here.
I could handle the Q&A, like I could get the questions.
Yeah.
it's fun. And, you can always have certain drivers that might have had a problem that following week come together and talk it out on stage.
That would be something.
Yeah, it just,
There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them we've had on here, and I've had them scheduled at the same time, and they had a little thing go on. I said, "No, I better not do that. We better split that up."
Oh, that would have been a great show.
No, I don't know about that one.
It's
Because there was
fun.
a lot of threats being made. So.
I do have a feeling that these championship nights coming up is going to be very interesting.
If we got 2 weeks off, we need a fill.
Yeah, got that
But
right.
there's a lot of close points that's coming in. Like top 5 in some divisions are within a couple of points. So it's very close.
He says he wants us to come over. Daddy Clark wants us to come over to his house and do the show.
All right, boss, maybe we'll work that up.
Because he's got he does all the cooking and everything over there.
That'd be a great show.
Get Tim Wilson to come too.
Yeah, we got to get Tim because Tim got a little upset with the fact that we didn't have him up here the other night. But I didn't invite them, everybody up here. I just kind of went down and Robert Rummels brought all his group up here, and oh well.
We're actually, Heather messaged me. I work in Durham and Raleigh every other week. They live right there.
Oh really?
So we're gonna meet up and have lunch
Oh,
the
that's
next
cool.
time I'm in town. So that was really nice. They were really wonderful people. So
They
we're
are.
gonna
They were.
keep in touch.
And it was great to have them here this weekend. They've been through so much, and great people that they are. And I mean, Aiden's a great kid. He's a outstanding student. This kid's above and beyond.
He has the tracks mapped out to a science.
Yes, he
I
does.
mean, if you listen to him talk, he can tell you how to go in an angle and the turns. He's extremely intelligent, and I was listening,
The
but
first time I met him was last year when I brought Jack and Will.
Mhm. I mean, he's got his stuff together, and he's a student, and he makes sure when there's some racing something, he's right on it. He's studying it. He knows exactly what to do.
I wish he still raced.
But it's really cool that they were here, and I want to thank everybody that came up and became part of that the weekend, and all the stuff that everybody gave to him. I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, he got some really cool stuff.
I mean, me and Chris Myers got to have a conversation because I didn't get any cake pops or nothing.
Well,
I still hesitate.
Call his sister up.
I told him, I said, I want to get a custom cake made. So he said, hit my sister up. She hasn't done cakes, but I'm sure she'll figure something
well,
out.
I'll get with Chris Myers again. Of course, we had them cookies that last time.
Yeah.
I got one out of that whole box.
Me too.
Who took them?
Scott. Clay.
I
They took the pops and the Oreos. You can get your racing logo on them.
Yeah,
The West Racing.
that's what she put our 500. She put up their 500 show. I mean, it was.
It'll look
Jack
just like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the ones that we did? That she did for us?
I have to
It
show
had
you.
it had this logo on
I'd show you a picture of
it. It
it.
had this exact logo on
That's really cool.
And that was the first that was all was on him. Then the next one was the thing he did, where he did the 500 show and everything.
Yeah, it'll look just like that.
Kenny Brett, she is.
They're good, man.
Very talented. Very. I mean, it had taste like, oh man.
Southern Sweets.
Yeah. And would have been nice to eat more than one, but I didn't get but one. But that's okay.
Well, that's why I like to stay like with our racing community when I order cakes or order
Yes.
catering. You know,
That's
you need to stay within your racing community because that's the people you should be supporting.
Well, Southern Sweets is the company, and she does a heck of a job. The food is good and everything that's come from over there. And Chris has brought it over here twice, and I'm gonna tell you what, it's been great. It's been unbelievable.
You probably only have like 3 out of the
Probably.
24 he's brought.
Got anything you want? Any sponsors you want to shout out to?
Oh my goodness.
Like Sparky Wags?
Absolutely. He took his sponsorship off my car.
Oh God, you kidding me?
He got mad at me and he ripped his sticker off.
Sparky, I'm still waiting on the chicken
It's just
salad.
because it's because at the end of the day, when we're out on this track, he's my crew member. So I get very irritated when something messes up. So yeah, I have a lot to handle sometimes. Not all the time, but
No, who would say that? Who would even think that?
But I do want to thank A+ Academics. They sponsored me. Now this is second year. Chicken Salad Chick. This is their second year sponsoring me. We have West Heat and Plumbing, S&W HVAC. Trying to think. Best Paws, which they just screwed my dog today, and then she wouldn't get out of the car. Literally, like she stood in the car because it was raining. She did not want to get out. So I'm very thankful for them. So always looking for more sponsors, though. You know, I'm not done with Danny's Glass yet. I'm going to try.
You gonna keep pushing that
I'm
one?
going to keep pushing that one. Yeah. But yeah, I really appreciate you as well, and Adam, and thank you guys for having me on the show. I really
Hey,
appreciate
you're part
it.
of the family, so we have to do
I
that.
do love it, except for when people get like intimidated by me. I kind of like have to sit there and think to myself, am I really that bad sometimes? Am I scary? I mean, on October 31st, I'm scary.
And when you're the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who.
That's my favorite thing to do is dress up. I cannot wait for October to come in your shows because you never know who's going to pop in the door.
Well, now I'm going to be kind of expecting it, so it won't be as bad as it was the first time you popped in the door.
We were convinced it was Sparky.
I was convinced that the Grinch was Sparky. I just knew it.
Brandy did a wonderful job. She did a wonderful job playing that part. And it's so funny because, now we try to come up with things. We have one really good thing we want to do, and she's trying to put it together. But if we can make it work, you guys are probably going to tinkle on yourselves. It's
Oh,
so
Lord.
hilarious.
Oh, Lord.
It is so hilarious. It's so funny because, I'll tell Clay, but you can't tell Jesse Call nothing. Because if you tell Jesse Call something, he's going to tell on you. So I can't tell him nothing anymore. So I can tell Clay. Clay won't tell
Yeah,
me.
Clay won't say nothing to me, no.
Me and Jesse got beef.
That's my mom up there. She's like my biggest fan up there.
Says we will be there the 11th.
My mom is always here. My mom has stage 4 COPD.
Oh,
So
man.
it's very hard for her to get around. So even on Wacky Wednesdays, it happens to be her favorite race night, by the way, is Wacky
My mom's favorite
Wednesday.
too.
She loves it. She will come here and she will just cut through the cold or the heat just to watch all my races. So I'm very lucky to have that.
I don't think I announced it.
Driver of the week.
Driver of the week. I don't think I announced it earlier.
Who can guess? I want to see.
Go Bruce.
Nope.
That
Nope, Spangler.
Exactly. It was.
was like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chris Spangler.
He deserves it.
He did a
Honestly,
great job.
he deserves it. Like the way he drove, like we were sitting in the booth and I was like, wait a minute, where did Chris come from? I mean, good for him. Like he deserves that 100%. Good for him. because he puts all the work into his car himself.
He did a heck of a job the other night, ain't no doubt about that. All right, well, that's our show for tonight. Please like and share our show. Hopefully someday we're going to get Scott back. I don't know what's going on with Scott, but
Clay would just replace him.
well, that's what he wants to do.
If you say that, then Scott will show up.
Yeah,
I'm Scott's
he
replacement.
has one more unexcused absence.
For the whole year.
I'm Scott's replacement at 16 years old.
But you know, you get an unexcused absence, you might not get to come back. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Who we got?
I don't know who I got yet completely. I haven't got all that together yet. But
All right.
anyway, all right, that's our show. Thanks. Please share and like, and we'll see you again next week. This is watch out what you wish for, Eddie Clarkson. Anyway, all right, we'll talk to you again next week.